Have you ever wondered what actual vampires do during their everyday lives, or should I say every night lives?
Mm.
Find out on this week's discussion of What We Do in the Shadows, the movie version, not the TV show. I'm Chad.
And I'm Matt.
You're listening to episode 68 of We Used to Talk About This at Work. All right, Matt, we're back. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I am doing good. How are you, Chad?
I'm on the mend. I was sick this week, not COVID, thankfully, but it's just been it kind of knocked me on my butt, you know. So I'm kind of just healing up. Kody, how you doing? You feeling sick? You feeling well? How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm doing good. No illnesses or anything like that. I'm feeling pretty good. So happy to
So
be
We
joining you guys.
forgot to introduce our guest.
that's me introducing him.
Oh.
He's a returning guest. We're not rolling the red carpet out. We're only nice to people on their first appearance.
Oh well, now there's not going to be a third return appearance
You
now.
know what,
But
Kody? You say that, but you get that text, what you doing? I feel like you're gonna reply.
I don't know. Matt won't be able to face to face try and convince me going forward. But
We'll
Right.
see. We'll see. Yeah. Matt's come to America for less. Hmm.
I have actually.
So, Kody, what do you want to talk about this week?
well, with the kind of like last time when I was on here for a horror movie, I kind of asked you guys what your favorite horror movie was. So with this one, with the genre that we did kind of being a comedy one, I was curious if you guys had a favorite horror comedy that came to mind or anything like that.
So, yes, I feel like this movie came out a little bit ahead of its time. If it would came out, I say at least 2 years ago, it would have been fine. Maybe not the same director, but Cabin in the Woods, where it really broke down the rules of various horror movies. Are you guys familiar with it?
Yeah, I am actually. I've seen it a couple times.
So it's directed by Josh Whedon, who is canceled at this time. And it also has Chris Hemsworth, which is kind of funny.
Why is he
Wait,
canceled?
Chris is Chris Hemsworth, right?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's him.
Um, apparently, so Josh Whedon has for many years appeared in the media as a feminist. He's even called himself a feminist, but it's been revealed like over time that he has been doing some very unfeminist things with female actresses and people in that bubble, if you get what I'm saying.
Right. So you're saying that this person, Gabby, from
Gabby.
Boyfriend Material, will
Oh,
cancel
I
this
see.
person.
Okay, I wasn't okay. We're referencing. Probably, yeah. She probably would. Yeah. But yeah, it's a solid movie. It's funny and it just like really plays with like the tropes of horror movies. And at the time, people were expecting just a regular horror movie when it was really like, hey, we are gonna break this stuff down.
Yeah, and that's actually the reason I ended up watching it again was because the first time I watched it, I was like, this is really like dumb. I don't know. Like I didn't fully, I guess, understand what they were going for. And then once I kind of did and rewatched it, I was like, okay, it's not too bad. I guess I wasn't really looking for it to make like jokes or anything like that. And I was like, well, it's not a great horror movie and everything. But yeah, going back and watching it a second time, I was like, okay, yeah, since now that I knew kind of they were going for the whole kind of almost Scream thing, a meta way of like horror movies and all that. I was like, okay, it's not too bad. So,
Right.
so that was
That's
your
my
pick of
pick.
your favorite kind of horror comedy. Okay, I think.
I guess mine will be off the top of my head. Like I didn't really think this through. Was of course be Vampire in Brooklyn.
Okay.
Um, um, would that be? Would y'all consider that a horror comedy?
Yes.
Okay. Would you consider the not Scream,
Yes.
Scary Movie?
Yeah, absolutely.
I get the comedy. I don't get the horror. I mean, because I guess it's a horror setting
Right.
for those comedies, but
Wait, are you talking about Scary Movie or the Scream movies?
scary movie.
Oh yeah, those are definitely horror comedies because I mean, they don't spoof just horror movies, but they do mainly spoof horror movies. That's usually like kind of the theme of them. So
And then the last one I came up with was Zombieland.
Seems
okay,
pretty
yeah.
solid.
Yeah.
What about you, Cody?
Um, so there's a couple different ones that I've seen and I actually kind of like. Probably to go a little off the beaten path, there's one called that I'm almost positive that neither you or many other people have seen called Thanksgiving.
Thanks killing.
Yeah, so just kind of a play on Thanksgiving. It's just about this turkey that comes back to life and then just goes around murdering a bunch of teenagers and everything, and they have to fight it and all that. And it's
When was
yeah,
this made?
I'd have to look it up. It was still fairly, I think, it was made sometime like I
Oh,
think post 2010. I don't know if you're pulling it up, but yeah, it's
yeah,
like
that's
really, it is a very low budget, like just very like in your face with the comedy. Like the main characters, the teenagers in there, like embody like a stupid ditzy kind of person, the jock and all that kind of stuff. And I remember seeing it and I was like, oh, this is like pretty funny. I know the reviews on it are terrible, but it was something that I saw that I was like, yeah, it's it knows what it is, and I think it did a really good job of just being off the wall, kind of ridiculous and all that stuff.
it looks low budget, yes.
Yeah, it was. I'm pretty sure both times, both movies, because they made a third or a second one that was called Thanksgiving 3, that they like crowdfunded. So I think both of these were very low budget things. Unsurprisingly, they weren't really able to secure a whole lot of funding, I think, for the premise. But that would probably be just to go a little off the beaten path with that. That was a horror movie that fell under also the comedy genre that I enjoyed a decent amount of. So I don't know if I'd recommend it for other people, but it was definitely entertaining for what it was, I feel like. So
Respect. Not yeah, just looking at the images, it's not my style personally, but
oh no, yeah, it definitely was something that I think I just saw one time and I was like, okay, I'll give it a watch. And it was, like I said, entertaining for what it was, but it's not like, I'm not putting it up in I'm not putting it up as an all-time great or anything like that, but it was
right.
good. Like I said, good for what it was, what it set out to achieve.
Recently, my son been wanting to watch it, so we went out and saw Paws of Fury, The Legend of Hank.
This
The
is at a real theater or the base theater?
You already know the answer to that.
Well, I would just think that since it's some kids movie that you don't care about, that you probably just don't care about the experience for your child.
No, this is a hill I'm gonna die on about not going to this theater.
Okay.
But are you familiar with the? Have you seen a trailer or heard about anything about it?
I'm familiar.
Okay, but yeah, one thing I didn't know: star-studded cast, star-studded cast. It's funny seeing Samuel L. Jackson as a cat or his voice as a cat. Um, but yeah, you got Michael Sierra, Ricky Gervais, Mel Brooks, Gabrielle England. You have a lot of people in this. But overall, my son loved it a lot. Good movie. It's about this we'll say this world of cats in the old days, samurai days, and things happen, and now a dog is sent to protect this town. But dogs and cats don't get along, so they're like, no dogs allowed, and we don't like you. And he's like, well, why you don't like me? He's like, because we just don't like you for years. So it kind of plays into like stereotypes of you don't like this person just because they're different and stuff like that. And they don't like the cats don't like him just because he's a dog and he's not a cat.
So, from what I heard about this movie, it's essentially Blazing Saddles.
I've never seen that.
Okay. Kody.
Wait, it's like wait, but like a very like G-rated version of it.
Right. Instead of it being a town of white people, white races, it's a town of cats that are prejudiced. And you send in the dog versus you send in the black sheriff.
Okay, so it was
Oh,
okay. Because yeah, Blazing Saddles, I know it's one of those movies that yeah, it's kind of like Airplane, where nowadays, yeah, it probably would not be made just because of like
100% you cannot make Blazing Saddles in
okay,
this day and age.
okay,
Well,
that's interesting.
you couldn't make Blazing Saddles the way it's presented.
Yeah, yeah, because I know yeah, like that in Airplane, there's a lot of things that
Yeah.
they do in there that are very yeah, just a lot of people would be a lot of groups would be unhappy with the way that certain things were portrayed, even if it was done in kind of a comedic style. But
Right.
okay, because yeah,
It's
I'm not familiar with Paws of Fury at all or anything like that. So
yeah, it's like when did Tropic Thunder come out? Like what, 2011, 2012?
yeah,
Like
I think okay,
that's
yeah,
that's like officially the last race movie we can make. And
yeah,
it ekes
that's the one
somewhat
that gets
okay.
referenced. Yeah, that one gets referenced a lot. Talking about movies that wouldn't be done like nowadays and all that stuff. So okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I wasn't familiar with that. I didn't know they'd do something like that, but for a kids movie. But
Hey, there are no new ideas left.
yeah, I mean there, yeah, tons of remakes and reboots and all that kind of stuff.
What else you got,
so
Matt?
if you got little children and things, I think they will enjoy it. And the next thing I have is I was on Twitter and so outside clothes. What do you consider outside clothes? Okay,
Uh,
I give you the whole thing first, and then as you think about that. So the topic was who wears outside clothes, or who wears their outside clothes and get in the bed. And there was this whole big discussion about wearing outside clothes and sitting on couches, getting in the bed. So my definition of outside clothes is clothes you got up in the morning, you went to work, and then you come home, and that's outside clothes.
okay.
Now, I do not get in the bed with outside clothes. Like for example, say if like take a shower, change it to something, or just not even take a shower, change it to some basketball shorts, t-shirt, then get in the bed. Like even if like I got off work and I'm about to take a 45-minute nap because we got to go somewhere else, I'm taking my clothes off and putting something else on before I get in the bed. So do you guys wear outside clothes in the bed?
It depends. Like I'm not wearing jeans in my bed, but if I got like some sweatpants on and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take a quick nap before I go to the gym. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for me, a little different, obviously. I have not come home in uniform and like just gone to taking a nap or anything like that. But
You're not trying to
if
be
I
sloppy, Kody?
I know it's just the military uniform is definitely not conducive for sleeping comfortably, so I wouldn't even attempt that. But I would say for the most part, I'd probably agree more with you, Chad. I think yeah, if I'm wearing something like maybe just like some like basketball shorts or some kind
Mm-hmm.
of maybe athletic shorts or something like that, like a t-shirt, I could probably still sleep in that. But yeah, I
Yeah,
definitely wouldn't like
yeah, it's
khaki pants or jeans and like a hoodie or something. Probably not sleeping in that.
right. It's nice and light. If it's clothes that you don't want, if it's clothes that you would iron that look bad, wrinkled, don't sleep in that.
So you guys' definition is more as fitting, like or comfortable fitting, sleeping or whatever. But I think that the topic was more, even though you've been outside all day with them, type of thing.
Well, that's the thing though, because like you're saying outside clothes, and I feel like you can look at that word two different ways because like you could take outside clothes as these are clothes that you only wear outside, or you could take that term as outside clothes, the clothes that you wore outside, which are two different things, kind of.
Mm-hmm. But
Uh,
I just take it as just clothes you. I mean, any clothes you wore outside, even if the like from a suit to a uniform to just basketball shorts, anything that you wore outside.
right. Yeah, like usually when I come home from work, I will change my clothes, usually, unless I have to go back out, but I get what you're saying. I saw Jordan Peele's Nope this week. Kody, have you been able to catch it yet?
I have not. I've seen. It seems like it's gotten some pretty good reviews, but
Okay.
I have not seen it yet. I will. I will. I do plan on seeing it at some point, though. So
Yeah, I'm not gonna get into it. I I'm not gonna get into like the exact reasons why, but like I really didn't like it that much. Um,
Uh-oh.
I would just say like you have Get Out, which like I said a few weeks ago, you can look at that from a couple of different perspectives. And whether you're getting it from the surface level of, oh, okay, I'm just looking at this from oh, black guy meeting his white girlfriend's parents and this is awkward and race stuff, or like the deeper like appropriation stuff. You can look at that from couple of different ways. And then you got Us, which I feel like there's stuff on the surface, but like in order to understand the movie you have to look deeper. And Nope is a little bit closer to Us than Get Out, if that makes
Mm.
sense.
And I didn't really care for Us.
Now, I'm not saying don't see it, because like I liked it a little bit more than Us, but I hate to sound like a dumbass, but I just want some surface level shit. All right. I don't want to have to be thinking about what the fuck this movie mean.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm
I
not
see what
saying
you're
I want to
saying.
I'm not saying I want to turn my brain off. I'm saying I don't want to have to like kick it up a couple notches.
Right.
But I don't know. All right. Yeah, this is gonna be a short one this week. This week we discuss the movie version of What We Do in the Shadows.
It's been like this the whole time, Deacon, on dishes, and it still hasn't moved in 5 years. You're a cool guy, but you're not pulling your weight in the flat.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that I'm cool.
No, that's not the point, though.
Yeah,
You're missing
no, I
the
know.
point.
Not a
I know.
flat meeting about how cool you are.
When you get three vampires in a flat, obviously there's going to be a lot of tension.
Viago was an 18th century dandy.
Look, a ghost cop. Vladislav is a bit of a pervert.
This is my torture chamber.
Deacon's like the young bad boy of the group.
I'm supposed to pay rent, but I don't.
A film crew follows vampires who are struggling with the mundane aspects of modern life, like paying rent, keeping up with the chore wheel, trying to get into nightclubs, and overcoming flatmate conflicts. Matt, what did you think of this movie?
I thought it was a great concept.
Okay.
I thought the concept of this was great. Um, there was hits and misses. Stuff I did like and stuff I was like, like I did not care at all for their whole beef with the werewolves.
Okay. Yeah, because they were
I don't
kicking that stuff off.
right, and yeah, they were instigating everything, so I didn't really care for their whole beef with them. I did like the movie long thing about the one who had the fight with the beast,
Oh
and then
yeah,
it
yeah.
turns out it was just his ex-girlfriend. Uh but I did like certain like their everyday stuff of them chores and fighting and in order to get in clubs and the mirror, like great concept, some good execution, but there were some stuff where I was like, I don't care. But overall, if I say like I wouldn't say it's a trash movie. I just get it an average score. It was good for what it was.
All right, Cody. Before you tell us your thoughts, Cody, have you seen this movie before?
No, this was the first time I had seen it. I had heard about the show, like on ads and stuff, but I hadn't seen the show either. So this was first time going into it. I didn't even know it was a movie until Matt mentioned it. So,
Okay.
but yeah, kind of along a little bit along the lines of what Matt said. Overall, I felt like it was a pretty average movie, but I will say that it does get some points for me for doing what I think a lot of horror movies and horror comedy movies kind of fail to do, and that's kind of take a older concept, bring it into a modern time, and kind of make it actually entertaining or just like practical. And for that, I think it did pretty well. Because I think there's a lot of other horror movies that really try to push the whole social media, phones, and all that stuff. Like they kind of it's kind of fitting a square peg in a round hole. It doesn't really work. And with this, I thought it actually did a pretty good job, kind of like Matt mentioned with the whole, oh, we have to get invited in places and having to go to clubs and all that stuff. I thought it did a decent job with that. And everything. And yeah, still wasn't, overall not a great movie, but I thought it was pretty good. Overall average, but it did do a better job, like I said, kind of adding a modern touch to kind of vampires. Kind of like yeah. So overall, just kind of average for me.
Yeah. I'm with you guys. This movie wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be based off like the trailer and stuff. Um, I will say like my absolute favorite of this movie was Jackie, the familiar. Like I just love like
Oh yeah, yeah.
the energy she brought to the movie and like her, gung ho. I gotta clean this toilet, full of blood here because they ate some people in here. I really like that, but I wish she was in the movie more. A lot of the jokes fell flat for me. Yeah, I like these actors, but I really wasn't feeling the movie that much. I will say that after I watched the movie, I watched 3 episodes of the show, and the show is a little bit better than the movie. Um, they added a female vampire to the core cast. Basically, the show takes place in the same universe as the movie because the guys from the movie guests appear on the show as their characters from the movie.
Do
Oh.
they have any involvement in it outside of that, or is it just kind of like are they producers on the show at all?
Yeah,
Do you know, or do they write?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah. And Taika, he directed the first episode of the series, and Jermaine
okay.
Clemens, he directed a few episodes too. So like they are involved, and it's like it's got a sort of similar tone, but I don't know. It's just like it just takes like a small snapshot of like, okay, this week. So it introduces like other types of vampires too. Like they have another flatmate who is an energy vampire. So he's a day walker, and like those boring people at work that just come up to you and just talk about the stupidest stuff, and it's just like you're like draining the life out of me. Like that's a type of vampire. And so like
Oh.
the joke is like he can even drain the energy of like other vampires. And so like they absolutely hate it when he comes around. So I don't know. It's got some funny bits, but yeah, the movie was okay. I agree. Like it's a good concept. I'm surprised that they were like, we're going to make this a TV show, but the TV show's pretty solid. And from what I understand, I'm going to spoil this. They get some really big guest stars as the show goes on. Like god damn it, what's Machete's name?
Danny Trejo.
Yeah, he appears on the show. Tilda Swinton, Rachel Evan Woods, even Wesley Snipes appears.
Really? As a
Yeah,
vampire?
as Blade.
But you Blade though. You're
No,
right.
that's the thing. That's the joke because like he's half vampire.
Oh. I need to watch this then.
So I don't know. Like the show's got some good qualities, but yeah, I really wasn't feeling the movie too much.
Right.
What do you guys think the Rotten Tomatoes is on this one?
All right, Cody, you go first.
Well, I'm gonna I'm gonna abstain because I
Oh.
did actually kind of check out some of the ratings after I watched it. My bad. I didn't.
No, you good.
If I
You
would have
good.
known, I would have definitely not looked at it. But I don't remember. I'm pretty sure I remember what it got. So I'll go ahead and abstain from it. I felt like it was higher than I would have rated it. I guess I was surprised.
I 100% agree with that.
Yeah,
Then I'm gonna go with 60%. Then
One more time.
80%.
96%, Matt. With
From
a
who? For
96% with an
maybe we didn't watch the
87%
same
audio
movie.
score. We watched a bootleg version of it.
Wow.
I don't get it either.
We must have didn't watch the same movie because it's like I said, it's not bad, but it's not that honest. It's not that good to be a 96.
Right.
That's
No.
crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I will throw this bit of trivia out there. This movie was the most pirated movie of 2014. Yeah. All right, trivia. How many spinoffs does this movie have? I'm not giving you any guesses.
Spinoffs?
Mm-hmm.
3.
I'm gonna say 2.
Currently, there's 2, but there will be a third. So you have What We Do in the Shadows, the TV show, which is set in the same universe. Then there's a TV show. Oh, my favorite! Like I absolutely loved it when the cops came to the house to investigate. Like I thought that scene was pretty funny. They gave those 2 characters a TV show based in this universe where they investigate like paranormal shit.
Really?
Yeah, I watched the first episode of that. It was okay, but it's got 4 seasons.
That seems like they run out of stuff pretty quickly. I feel like it doesn't seem
Yeah.
like a concept that would have 4 seasons of good,
I
solid
agree.
there.
I agree. And then they're working on a spinoff with the vampires. I'm sorry, the werewolves. But currently there's 2 spinoffs.
I think I did see something about them trying to incorporate the werewolves more. Because not being familiar with the show at all. So the show is strictly just vampires the entire time.
No. So on the 3rd episode, one of the vampires, he's like working in his garden and he's like, oh, that smells like there's werewolf pee on my flowers. And so he sets a trap and he traps a werewolf. And then the pack comes and they have a beef. But they're like, well, there's been a truce since 1993, and they have to like look at the documents to see how they handle any disputes. So that was kind of funny.
I like how they want to make their own universe with all this stuff. Well, why the fuck would you? I mean, I get the werewolves. I'm still hung up on this whole. Why would you get the police officer like that? I'm on a roll in this.
Because
at least do like the girl who became a vampire at the end.
Yeah.
Do something one with her or something and her new stuff doing it, or Nick being the it was just why like if he was like, yeah, we need to expand his universe, let's give it to these police officers. Or do a prequel with who's the one who died in the sun?
Oh, was his name Peter?
Peter.
Yeah, Peter. Yeah, do a prequel to show Peter stuff or whatever. Like having the cops have their own show would never cross my mind.
On paper, it makes sense because, in my opinion, that was the funniest scene. But in practicality, like I said, I only saw the first episode and it wasn't that good. And I'm gonna see if I can find like an episode from a later season. Like maybe they figured out some of the comedy. So, like I said, it's a very short one. Thanks for just hanging out with us, Kody. Any movies you want to have the people check out, that you feel like you want to promote?
Trying to think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
How you like being put on the spot, Kody?
I don't know. I mean, I wasn't even ready to provide recommendations. But I don't know. I don't really have anything that I've seen recently that really stood out to me, or I'm like, oh, people should definitely check out. Because I still need to see the new Thor movie and all that. But unfortunately, no, I don't have any recommendations unless anybody was really interested in the premise of the movie that I talked about earlier, Thanksgiving. They
The
could maybe
turkey.
check that out. But yeah, I don't think there might be a very niche audience for that of people that would actually enjoy it. So I don't think I can actually recommend it. Yeah, sorry,
Cody,
I don't.
you don't want to recommend Halloween 3?
No, it was the trash movie in the franchise. It
Sir,
didn't
excuse me,
connect at
sir.
all. Didn't connect at
Excuse
all.
me, sir.
It had nothing to do with Michael Myers.
Well, thank you for your time, Kody, and thank you for listening. Please rate, like, and review our podcast on your platform of choice. If you have any feedback, please email us at weusedtotalkpod@gmail.com. Like our Facebook page. We used to talk about this at work. And follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at We Used to Talk Pod.
And like always, I don't know if this was a good episode or a bad episode, but whatever you think about it, talk about it at work. Thank you for listening.